So a lot of the poems in the collection are a response to each other. And so from that initial idea of JP taking the introduction and creating a blackout poem from that, we then kind of went, call and response from there. And so here are two poems that are written in response to each other. The one on the right uses the binary phoneme dictionary that is used throughout the collection, and it is in response to the one on the left that JP wrote.
Yeah, so Machinations there's actually three parts to it, and I created this, I suppose, through inventing my own constraint, if you like, from one of Turing's sort of most famous papers, at least the one where he sort of starts to talk about the idea of intelligent computing. And this was his sort of 1950 Mind paper. And I took that entire document and did a search on every reference to the word machine, and then after that chose a very short phrase randomly from the following sentence. And I did this sort of kind of logically throughout the entire paper, and then from that created three separate pieces in the same order in which they appear in his paper. And I suppose it was partly my inference of quite interesting the ideas that it shows up, not just about his thinking about machines, but perhaps also what was happening to him at the time. So this first one is Machinations 1, subtitle Animal. Attitude is dangerous, difficult to escape, absurd. The interrogator decide wrongly. What is the answer? Such artificial flesh. Try and pretend, troubled by this objection. Permit every kind. Allow the possibility, frame the definitions, abandon the requirement, aroused by a particular kind. Unsatisfactory. Danger. Instructions are obeyed. Numbers are assigned, coded in a form. Mimic the behavior. An interesting variant. Free will. Purely mechanical. Sudden jumps or clicks. Discrete state. Convenient fiction. An input signal. Finite number. All future states. Instead of the idealized, accurate knowledge, compare the logarithm. Possibility of statements. The imitation game. Unable to distinguish, suitably programmed, let us fix our attention. Abandon. Meaningless. Expecting to be contradicted. Animal. Unable to accept any part of this. Difficult to swallow.
And so my response to that was the poem Such Artificial Flesh. And you can see I've picked up on a phrase that has come from JP's poem. And so I created the image that you see, which is on a grid that has the word such artificial flesh on it. And I input that image into the piece of software I wrote that would process an image and produce a poem. And at the start of this, I put in an image, and there's actually no words are assigned to any binary numbers. So it's okay. At the start, I have full control over it. But as I start adding things to the dictionary, I start to lose control of what the poem is coming out as. And so this is a good example where you can see I had some gaps and I filled in some words that I can kind of make the line make sense. But depending on what the image is, you get repetition of sounds. And there's I'm starting to be limited in what I can do because the algorithm's taking over control using the dictionary that it's learnt from previous poems. Such artificial flesh. Have your lives, broke skin lives. Have all lives, dead skin lives. Makes your lives, flesh, flesh, flesh. Make blank flesh, some touch flesh. Makes touch flesh, faux touch flesh. Some touch flesh, 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 flesh. Wear your words through skin words, in skin words, through skin store, through your sense, flesh, flesh, flesh. Words to restore, ways skin down, dent prone way, to store and restore. So you can see in that poem, the word flesh is repeated a lot, and that's mostly because that word flesh had been encoded to the binary digit, I think 11111, earlier in another poem image creation that I had done. But you can see in the image here, there's a little white space, and that 11111 is the white space, and that's why you're getting the word flesh, flesh, flesh over and over and over again. So depending on what we inputted in the past, that's kind of controlling what's coming out in the poems as we go. So the more we input, the more words are encoded into binary numbers, and the less control I have over it as a poet.